Hey there, MeetEdgar community. It's Megan tonight coming at you with a really fun guest from a company called Ahrefs that is going to talk a lot about some really exciting subjects that I know you all deal with every day. Things like really best practices in blogging, guest posting, content repurposing, and a whole other slew of things. Because what Ahrefs actually focuses on is SEO optimization. So we're really excited to get in here today and talk about some of these concepts. But first, I'm going to pass it on over to the Ahrefs team to introduce themselves and tell you all a little bit more about what they do over there.
Hi guys, so I'm SQ, and this is Rebecca. We are both from the marketing team at Ahrefs. So what we do day to day is what we are going to talk about today. So we do a lot of content creation. So we blog for the Ahrefs blog. For me, I do a lot of Quora. I answer a lot of Quora questions, and Rebecca herself does a lot of Twitter stuff. So maybe she can talk about Twitter.
Yeah. So what we do actually is we are an SEO toolset. So you use our tool to get data, and then that helps you rank in Google, which is always super great. So maybe we can start off with talking about blogging, which is the number one thing that most companies want to get into.
Yeah, absolutely. So content creation in itself, blogging in itself is one of the best ways to get your message out there and add value to your community. And it's a lot of different things go into blogging, whether it's thought leadership, whether it's a blog post that's about your product. The length of it is always a question, how frequently you should post, how you're going to get link backs to the rest of your content. And all of this stuff is wrapped up not only in the stuff that you're doing to get your content out into the world through social media marketing, but also through SEO tips. So what have you guys found have worked really well for some of the clients you work with when it comes to kind of best practices around blogging?
To start things off, maybe we can talk about our own blog, because that's like our own case study. We use our own tool to market our own blog. And our blog is located at ahrefs.com/blog, so ahrefs.com/blog. And we see about, I think we're hitting 180K views a month organically right now. So what we do for blogging is that we have one main strategy, which is we only blog about topics that have such potential. So that's just our trick. We don't blog about things that people don't want to see.
That is definitely the first step in making sure people read your blog posts, is having this idea around what people want to read and their pain points that you can help them solve and how helpful you can be. So taking that first step and understanding what people want to see online is so, so important. How do you guys figure that out?
We use our own tool.
Your own tool. Very nice.
What happens is that I think a lot of companies, when they are going into blogging or content marketing, they just sit down and brainstorm topics that they think their potential readers would like to read. So maybe a web development company would be talking about web development or some kind of web development tactics or strategies or stuff like that. So, but if you are, for example, a web development company, you're trying to attract clients looking for web development services, they may not be looking for advanced web design tips. So then if you are blogging about web design tips, you're going on the wrong foot. So what we do is that at Ahrefs, we talk a lot to our customers and our potential customers. So we know what are some of their pain points and what are some problems they face day to day. So with this ideas and topics, we use our own tool called Keywords Explorer, which is a keyword research tool. So what we do is that we use these problems as seed keywords. We enter them into our tool, and our tool will generate like thousands of ideas that we can target, and we can also rank for, and our readers are interested in, and we also get search traffic off of there.
Oh, I love this idea of starting out talking to the actual people who are going to read it and having that be your basis for guiding how you're going to have your blogging strategy, what topics are going to come out, all of that kind of stuff. So when you guys are researching keywords and talking to people, what do you do when it comes to actually planning out your blog posts? How many do you plan out at once? Do you guys have a system or a schedule on kind of how often you're writing different blog posts?
We don't have a set schedule, actually. Right now, we just have a list of topics we want to get into based on traffic numbers and search potential. And then we kind of, it's like a free for all within the marketing team. You just pick the topic you want, and we don't have a set deadline. Like, you don't have to write one post every day or anything like that. We just take as long as we need to get the post to a good quality. So there's a lot of trust, a lot of autonomy. Your job is to get the post really good, do your research, get it all out there, and then we publish.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart, for sure. We actually have gotten rid of deadlines as well at MeetEdgar, because it's that quality over quantity that matters online. There's so much stuff that is just out there on the internet that yours to stand out has to be such high quality to gain these people's attention. So I love this idea of getting rid of deadlines. It is all about getting the best quality possible when writing those blog posts. Completely agree.
Yep.
So for us, I think our blog posts tend to count in the 3,000 plus words per post to like Joshua, our head of content, does like monster 5,000 to 6,000 word posts all the time. And we prefer to do one long post that covers everything as opposed to like churning out a ton of different posts.
That makes a lot of sense. And it is kind of this thing where we're finding that Google is actually giving higher rankings to pages these days that people are actually reading and spending more time on. So having these longer posts that answer everyone's question is a signal to Google that this is a helpful article, and it'll actually help increase your rankings if you guys can write these longer ones. But of course, it's got to work for your community too. So experiment with it. It's really cool to hear that you guys have found really great success in these longer form ones, but throw in sometimes, you guys, when you're starting to develop your own strategies, starting to kind of throw in some shorter ones, seeing if that resonates with your audience, peppered in with some longer ones as you're getting started out as bloggers, as content creators, is a really great way to see what resonates with your specific audience. So that's awesome. You guys have found that out for sure. Are there any other blogging tips that you guys have really found that helps grow your blog as high as it has in numbers and hits and views?
An interesting thing we've been experimenting with lately is making infographics within our blog posts. So after you read the entire post, you pick out areas where like maybe some statistics are going in there and it could be a little bit dry. And then we are creating little infographics that we can then repurpose onto Twitter. And that actually circulates better than simply linking your post out sometimes, especially on social media.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine. So infographics and anything visual these days is going to be so much better at hooking people's attention so quickly. That is a really great tip. And I love this idea of repurposing it. And, you know, especially with Twitter's new rules that you're no longer allowed to share the same tweet to Twitter more than once. This strategy is going to be so killer to be able to go ahead and take out that infographic and share it with the link, take out a little bit of a pull quote from within the article and share it out on Twitter. So you can still reshare this evergreen content because it took you so long and so much great quality work goes into a blog post that you want to make sure it shows up in most of your followers' feeds to give them that value. So anything you can do to repurpose what you've already worked on is going to provide such great success when it comes to social media marketing on Twitter. So think of the ways you can pull out your actual information in that blog post, make it into just kind of pull quotes, as I mentioned, infographics, as they found really great success with, and kind of learn from these awesome tips that they're dropping here. Besides infographics, how else do you guys repurpose your blog posts?
So we actually do so because a lot of our content pieces are so long, 3,000 to 6,000 words long. And I think we spend a lot of time creating these pieces of content. We do a lot of research. For some of our blog posts, we actually reach out to hundreds of experts just to get quotes, or we run surveys running into the thousands of people. So we really want, we don't want to just publish and let it be. We want to let as many people see it as possible. So what we do is that we take all of this content and then we turn it into various formats. So we have a colleague, his name is Sam. So Sam is in charge of our YouTube channel. So what he does is that he will also do keyword research for YouTube. He will decide which topic will resonate with people on YouTube. And then he will, when a topic is similar to what we have written on the blog, he will create a video that uses a lot of the tips we have covered in the blog post. That's one way we do it. Another way we do it is that a lot of our content is also relevant for Quora. So we also repurpose a lot of these blog posts as answers on Quora. And then Rebecca will take tips from maybe one of our posts like SEO tips and share a tip a day on Twitter. And then we have another colleague who is doing repurposing on LinkedIn. And then do it?
No, many ways.
Yeah, I think we are also going to experiment with maybe transforming some of our content into slide shares. So turning them into slides, just publishing on a slide share. Yeah, so just many ways you can think of. Okay, I remember another way we do it is that we actually have a small team of small SEO team that uses what we call the splintering technique.
Splintering technique.
Yeah, so the main idea behind splintering technique is that you have written such a long, in-depth guide on maybe like social media or like getting traffic to your blog. And then, for example, some of our blog posts has like 6 to 7 chapters. And then what you can do is you splinter these chapters into guides or blog posts on your own. And then you can repurpose them as guest posts on other people's blogs.
Wow, I love that. What a great time saver. And also a way of, like you said, to create these connections with other companies who have a similar mission, getting your brand in front of their viewers' eyes, having this guest posting strategy set up is great. And oh my gosh, I can't believe the amount of ways that you're able to repurpose and get the most out of these blog posts you're writing. Guys, just to recap here, YouTube and keywords, as they said, is so important. YouTube is a search engine when it comes down to it at the end of the day. So using these best practices that you're doing with your blog and bringing them into YouTube, check out which of your posts are getting the highest traffic and which of your blog posts are having people actually go on to them, read them the most, having the most views, and turn those into videos, like they said, because that is going to be such a great indicator that that is content people are relating to and want to hear more about. So these repurposing techniques have been incredible. And I also love this idea of going on to platforms like Quora. These are actually social platforms that we forget about a lot of the time. And it is an amazing way to create community and be helpful. So to be seen as a thought leader in your industry, to really stand out in your niche, you need to be helpful and offer advice and offer answers to those around you who have the pain points your product could solve. So this advice on Quora is something I think is so underutilized. So I love to hear that. And it's certainly something that I think a lot of our followers at MeetEdgar here could start doing to start connecting with people in their industry. Now, I know you just touched on blog posting with the splinter technique. Do you guys find that you pitch your blogs a lot to different companies, or do you find people reach out to you for guest posting, or kind of what's your process around that?
In general, when people reach out to us, they want to post on our blog, not so much that they want us to post on their blog. So when we do guest posting, it's generally us reaching out to other people. And our process is pretty much we stick their URL into our own tool again, and then we find out what kind of authority their domain has. And we try and prioritize links from higher authority domains to get a backlink from when you guest post for them.
That is a really smart idea, making sure you are getting in with the people who are going to drive traffic to your site, your hard work paying off. That's really interesting. Cool. So I think we've covered a ton today. Is there anything else that you guys kind of wanted to chat about, or anything else that you have found works so well for content creators that the Edgar community could learn from?
Maybe a small tip. The reason why we use MeetEdgar, like we were talking about content repurposing, and we have so many formats like videos. Sometimes we share infographics, sometimes it's a quote or a statistic. And the reason why I like MeetEdgar is because you can kind of put them into little buckets of contents within MeetEdgar itself. And I can actually schedule them at different times on different days. And personally, I found that infographics for Ahrefs works better on Sundays. I don't know why. People are just more willing to engage on Sundays. But the cool way that you can actually track which format does better on which days and schedule it on those times. And
so good to hear. Yeah, we're so into our categories at MeetEdgar. And like she has just explained beautifully, guys, it is all about experimenting on social media. And using a tool like Edgar just makes your experiments be that much easier to iterate on. So if you're sharing these infographics that you know are going to provide a lot of value, but they're not getting a lot of hits, try switching that category to another day or time. Maybe people just don't have a lot of time to engage with them in the middle of their day. So you move that category to the end of the day or the weekend when people might have some actual more time to engage with your content and learn from it. And categorizing your updates is so great for repurposing because people can then consume your actual information in the format that they want. Sometimes maybe someone would rather watch a video than read a blog post. So make sure that information is getting out. And your feeds on social media, when you're categorizing and when you're doing things like repurposing your content, are going to look so fresh and they're going to be engaged with more because people can consistently count on your content. So that is awesome to hear that even with all of your SEO tips and everything that's going on, that you're able to get all of this great content, that you're splintering out and all of this fun stuff into a tool like Edgar. We definitely love to hear that those categories are doing well for you guys. Cool. Well, I think that is about it from my end. Any other kind of tips and tricks you guys were hoping to share with the community today?
Yeah, I think we are good for today. I think we have shared enough for a lot of people to follow and take action. So we don't want to overwhelm them with too much.
Very much so agree. Yeah, guys, that is a really great point, FQ. So this idea that you guys have just learned valuable information from SEO experts over here who have grown their blog to massive numbers. So take these tips and tricks and know they work. Put the effort in to repurpose your content, to really get those keywords optimized on your site, to reach out to other people and guest posts, get those links out online, and you'll see really great success. Like I said, we're really excited that Ahrefs came on today. If you guys have any questions at all for them, go ahead and contact them. Of course, you can contact support@meetedgar.com at any time. And we're really grateful that you joined today. Thanks, guys.